I will call you back again to another video lecture on C++ programming, and in this video lecture, I'm going to teach you how to call functions by value. Alright, so there are different ways to call a function. You either call a function by value, or you call it by pointer, or you call it by reference. For in this particular example, we are going to look at how to call a function by value. So what we mean by calling a function is that by value is that you have to pass all the arguments to a function, and these arguments copies the actual value of an argument into the formal parameter of the function. So those arguments that you copied are moved right inside the formal parameter of a function. Okay, now let's go ahead and illustrate this using a simple example of a swap. So in these three examples of call by value, reference, and a pointer, we're going to demonstrate that using a simple project known as swap function, so that you can be able to swap two values. Okay, so you can be able to swap two values, and then you go ahead and call that right inside the main function. So in the call by value method, we are going to declare the function outside the main function, like say void num swap, void underscore num swap. Then inside the arguments of these are, let's say, int num1 and int num2. So go ahead and apply semicolon at the end. So we're going to swap these two numbers, int num1 and int num2. This is the first call we are making in function call by value. Then you're going to see the difference, so we'll go ahead and do that with call by pointer and call by reference. Okay, so that is why you have to keep this by your side, so I can be able to wash it out again when we get to the next lecture, because you have to look at this and see the difference there. Now let's go ahead and declare the local variables of num1 and num2. So to declare local variables, go ahead and say int num1 is equal to, let's say, 28 per semicolon, and int num2 is equal to 56 and per semicolon. So we have num1 and num2, which we have already declared its function up here. Okay, now let's go ahead and write a simple code that will show us, let's say, cut, and we're going to say numbers, put this in a string format, numbers before swapping. So numbers before swapping is equal to numbers before swapping equal to a equal to, then go ahead and put the value of let's say num1, put the value of num1 right here, and go ahead and end the line, semicolon, and the sentence is applicable to num2, see out. So numbers before swapping num2 is equal to num2 and put a semicolon at the end. So numbers before swapping, num1 equal to num1 is going to get a value of num1. Then how can we swap that? Go ahead and call the function by values. So the value of num1 is 28 and the value of num2 is 56. So if you want to swap that, go ahead and call a simple function that we have in C programming, C++ programming, and that is called swap. You can see that listed out there. So hit on swap and you can be able to swap two numbers, like say num1, comma, num2. So once you call this function swap, it will go ahead and get the values of num1 and num2 and swap the two. Check out the result right now. So whatever you give us after calling the swap, we change the values, okay? Now let's go ahead and let me go ahead and copy this. I'm going to copy these two things right here. And go ahead and paste it right here. So if I run this code, then this is going to be after numbers after swapping and numbers after swapping. Now run this code and check it out. So numbers before swapping equal to 28, num1, numbers before swapping num2, 56, numbers after swapping num1 is 56, and numbers after swapping num2 is 28. Can you see that? Now that is how it works, alright? That is how it works. So I believe you've seen the difference between, you've seen what call by value does. So once you call that, it will pick up the values of num1 and num2, and that is how it does for any other one you're working on. It is not just only for swapping, okay? But we're using swapping as an example to show you how call by value works. So, in demonstration for now, call by pointer and call by reference, we're also going to use the same format of swapping, but you're going to see the difference between call by value, call by pointer, and call by reference. So put this down on your own system, play around with it, and check it out. And in case you have any question, please go ahead and use the question and the answer section, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in the next video lecture.